Greetings, Earth and Space Explorers. Welcome to Doc Waller's Earth and Space Report for Friday, October 29, 2021. I'm your host, Bill Waller, an astronomer, science educator, and communicator, coming to you on a cloudy autumn evening in Rockport, Massachusetts. These Earth and Space Reports are intended to engage and inform people like you who are curious about Earth as a planet, who care about our life-sustaining environment, and who wonder about the greater cosmos, including our place in space and moment in time. Video recordings of these reports are archived on the Earth and Space Reports YouTube channel. Today, we are joined by members of the Rockport Research Explorers, Rockport Cultural Council, Gloucester Area Astronomy Club, sundry science colleagues, friends, family, and other curious folk. Thank you for coming. This evening, I'm happy to be hosting Stephen Haynes, Director of the Maine Granite Industry Historical Society Museum, otherwise known as the Granite Museum. My first encounter with Stephen was in September when I visited his enchanting museum situated on Mount Desert Island. There, I was regaled by Stephen as he personally led me through all the exhibits that he has put together to vivify the granite that embodies what it means to live in coastal Maine and in my own hometown of Rockport, Massachusetts. Stephen is not an academic per se, but has inherited a rich background of granite quarrying from his grandparents and stoneworking from an expert merchant mariner and lapidarist. He often finds himself engaging groups of students and teachers with his deep knowledge of the geological and human history of New England granites. After having such a great experience talking with Stephen and his partner, Juanita, at their museum, I couldn't resist asking him if he would be willing to give an Earth and Space report, and he graciously agreed. So welcome, Stephen. The Zoom platform is all yours.
Thank you. I'm a little bit nervous. This is my second time that I've been on Zoom. So welcome to the Granite Museum. This started for me at the age of 11 years old. I was being taught by that merchant marine, and he taught me how to collect, label, and do my mapping. Also, he taught me how to go into the community and ask all the questions of all these old Europeans. People from Italy, Aberdeen, Scotland were here on Mount Desert Island and cutting stone very early. And I was able in the 60s to meet all these older gentlemen. And they told me how to use their tools. They gave me their tools. Also, they asked me to tell their story. And that's what my museum does, 11 counties in Maine, with the story of these men. And so tonight I'm going to give a geology, a real quick geology, and also a 16 stone presentation, the historic stones of New England. And so there will be 4 photographs of each stone. The stone itself, and then 3 photographs of the quarry, the industry, and then the last photograph of the 4 would be the quarry now, full of water and grown up. And so thank you for having me, and we'll begin. So this is my exhibit here of the historic stones of Mount Desert Island. And so we had 550 million years ago, we had Laurentia, Old Core, North America. We had the Southern Hemisphere on the equator, Gondwana, breaking apart from the equator. And so Africa was breaking apart from South America. So we had this first tectonic terrain that came in and smashed into Laurentia at 480 million years. Then we had 450 million years. We had Gander terrain. Gander terrain was carrying volcanics. And you can see right in the middle of that Gander terrain was a whole line of volcanoes. Also on the outer edge towards tectonic terrain. And there's a red dot right there in the middle of Gander, which was Mount Desert Island. And this is the story of now the geology of Mount Desert Island. And so we had here on the island under the ocean, we had a magma chamber forming a caldera under the ocean. This was giving off volcanic ash. We find the ash beds in the cranberries of layered volcanic ash. The felsite, we find the breccia of in the bed slates, and finding the breccia in the cranberries. And so this was all giving off the volcanic ash. We find in that Gander terrain, we had what was called schist. This is metamorphic schist called Ellsworth schist. This is a carrying a lot of quartz and felspar. This was the heat and pressure that bent all these actually straight layers at one time of sea bottom. But heat and pressure now forms that stone into a lace stone, lace pattern. And so this was melting down in that chamber. Also on the this Gander terrain, we have now found in Southwest Harbor, ancient sea bottom. You can see the straight layered of sea bottom, of silts, sands. So this was found at Fernal Point, Southwest Harbor. It was a road cut up into an estate. And so we found the stone. 3 days later, it was all landscape. So there's only 2 stones that came out of that site. This is one of them. The neat thing about this specimen here, right on top of sea bottom, is granite. And so this, we find no sea shells. And that is due to that volcanics on top of sea bottom must have heated it and took the organic matter out. So this was a very neat find from Fernal Point, Southwest Harbor. This is 465 million years old. So this was melting down in the chamber also. So we have now forming under the ocean this magma chamber and melting schist and the Bar Harbor series sea bottom. This first area was forming Southwest Harbor. Southwest Harbor, that first eruption was a fine grain granite. So being the small particles it would have cooled very, very quickly towards the surface. And so we find a lot of areas that has that very fine grain. We find a lot of it on our beaches, the cobbles. And so that was your Southwest Harbor, the first eruption of the in the formation of caldera. And so now we had this terrain that broke apart and was drifting northward, and it's 420 million years. And it's the Avalon terrain. Avalon terrain came in and smashed into Gander. This is now letting these volcanoes super eruptions with that collision of Avalon terrain. And now we have on Mount Desert Island a super volcano. And so now we have coming up into the Southwest Harbor a igneous lava, and now it's remelting and recrystallizing Southwest Harbor. It's altering that fine grained granite by melting it down. This caldera now is now out of the ocean. And so this is now forming the Bar Harbor area, the second eruption. And so we find now in this magma chamber that is a viscous material like a molasses. It's a cooler liquid. And now we have LG coming into the chamber. This is magma being injected into the Cadillac Mountain Formation. This now is basalt, gabriel, and which with a lot of felspar and hornblende. Also, we had the dorite. This is an igneous stone, but without quartz. So it can't be a granite. Granite has to have quartz. So now this basalt is coming up into the chamber. It's so hot, it didn't mix. And the next clue on MDI, we find that the basalt was blobbing into the chamber. It was so hot, it didn't mix. This is like water and oil. It didn't mix, and you can see that it trapped, this basalt trapped the fine grained granite in its layers. And so this is a very special piece of the geology. And so it didn't mix in the chamber. It layered itself in the chamber. And so it was too hot to mix. But what was happening here is we had the cooler igneous on top of the basalt. And so it didn't mix, but it mingled. And so we have, up to this point, we have white felspar. We have in the on top of sea bottom, white felspar. So now what's happening? We have felspar in the dorite, huge amount of felspar being white. what is happening? We have a huge amount of hornblende and iron in this basalt. And so now this is mingling with the cooler igneous, and now coloring the felspars bright red and orange. In some cases, here on the island, you can go into areas of Cadillac Mountain and you'll see huge amounts of rust running out of the layers. And so also by the salt water, you can see a lot of rusting going on. So this is now forming the Bar Harbor. We can see this is a coarse grain granite. So look at the first eruption and the second eruption. Fine grain, close to the surface. This is very coarse. So what we're finding is Cadillac Mountain, standing on Cadillac Mountain today, you had 2 miles of mountain on top of you. Standing on Cadillac Mountain today, you were down in the chamber where this was all liquid. And my guess, they love that because they've all been on Cadillac and never realized how much of there was of mountain range on top of us. And so now forming the Bar Harbor area. And we're now having major eruptions, and we had 5 different events of basalt shooting into that chamber. So we're building that mountain range. Now we have another event, and it's the Sonesville Granite. And this is now pushing up through the Southwest Harbor. It pushes up through the superheated material, the basalt. It is a resurgent dome, and it pushes up through the Bar Harbor. It pulls itself on top of Bar Harbor. So we find Sonesville Granite is a medium grain granite of light salmon pink. This is also a biotite granite, where Cadillac Mountain or Green Mountain is a hornblende granite. And so very, it was influenced by the basalt, where this didn't have the big influence of basalt. It only gave a little color of the felspar, and with a biotite mica. Also in the Sonesville Granite, we have a huge amount of grays with the pink felspars. This area was very famous for its paving block of gray granite. And so a lot of our quarries was that gray stone. So now we have the formation of the MDI. The granites have all extruded. And now we have a 2-mile mountain range on top of us. Now it's 370 million years. And now we have mega terrain that comes in and hits Avalon. Mega terrain splits apart. It's now drifting, parts of it drifting northward, and is now New Brunswick area. Mega terrain comes in. It smashes into Avalon. This is now building the Appalachian Mountains. So now All of this terrain is now smashed. It's uplifted. All the land mass is uplifted. And all of these 2 miles of mountain that was on top of us, all tipped. This mountain range on top of us tipped at a 33-degree angle. So we have 33 quarry islands on the coast of Maine, all at 33-degree angle. And so now the volcanoes have shut down because of that uplift. They're shut down, and now the ocean is pouring out, now taking the high peaks off, gentle sloping the mountain range. We now have 400 million years of erosion taking place. Now, as that erosion is taking place, the granite down in the bottom of this mountain is now cooling, and it's cooling very slowly from top to bottom. As it cools, it's splitting into a horizontal sheeting. We can see this on the island, roadside geology. And so as it cooled, it was now splitting into horizontal sheeting. And so cooling and splitting. Also, it was splitting vertically. And so a lot of these vertical splits, you can go to scoot it here off the island, and you can see that those vertical splits were now filled with basalt. And so you can see those vertical, they used to call them snakes. And you can see all of that basalt that filled those verticals. Some of the verticals was not filled. And that was an exceptional process of opening a quarry that had horizontal sheeting and vertical. That was the perfect quarry. Okay, so now we have the erosion taking place, and the high peaks taken off, gentle sloping the mountain range. And now we have the 3 glaciers that are coming over. 5,000 feet of ice now is scraping off the mountain range. The last glacier of 25,000 years ago now is scraping off that mountain range. It now comes in contact with this very hard hornblende granite, and it can't push that granite off. It must ride on top, and now the last glacier of 25,000 years ago is now landscaping the whole coast of Maine, especially Mount Desert Island, and all of our mountains are rounded domes. So we have now the last glacier, 5,000 feet of ice on top of this very small area. And now it pushes it down. And with the weight of the ice, with huge boulders trapped inside of the ice. This is Lucerne granite. Now, Lucerne granite is just 30 miles from here. But up on Bubble Mountain, we can see huge boulders of a coarse grain granite of gray shade that is now setting on top of our mountain. This is Lucerne granite, and look at the felspar. What a huge crystal. So this was formed way down in the earth. And so now we have that glacier receding in summer, pushing in winter, and now pushing off from Massachusetts, all of this debris, and forming the Georges Banks. Well, that last glacier, it finds on the island here valleys and ravines. And now the glacier is dipping down into those valleys and now finding sedimentary rock. And now plowing out all of these, that sedimentary, plowing it all out. And so we have all of our lakes on the island here, granite bowls full of fresh water, 100 feet deep. Now we have the island that's almost cut in two. And that glacier found in that ravine sedimentary rock, and now splitting that huge trough out, almost splitting our island in two. And now eventually the ocean comes in, fills in the fjord. It's not a fjord, it's a fjord. It's not as deep and is not as high a mountain as the Norwegian. So in the last 15 years, geology has now, me learning a fjord all my life, I have to now call it a fjord because it's not as deep as the Norwegian. So that was a learning experience for me. So we have all of these granite quarries all along the coast of Maine. And so at one time, the ocean was way out, way south. And so this was all land right here.
Could you
And
tilt,
so
could you
they
tilt the
do
top
find-
closer to, could you tilt the top a little bit closer? There you go. Yeah.
And so we find that the scallop draggers are pulling up Indian artifacts from way out deep water. And so the encampments of the Native Americans were way out on the Outer Banks. And so we find very little bit here on the island. Here, it was mostly outer. So that was now the ocean is filling, the glacier melts off, and now the salt water comes in, and having the seawater right into the fjord. So we find all the clues right here of volcanics on Mount Desert Island. And so this is a geology paradise right here. And what a learning experience for that 11-year-old. This merchant marine was taking me throughout the island and showing me all the historic volcanics. And so we have coming to the island here, University of New Hampshire. I've had Boy Scouts from Virginia getting their merit badge right here. We have the geology right here, and all of the the information for their merit badges. And so we have, a few years ago, Sipes, the oil geologist from Texas, and stayed a full week here and doing the research on the geology of Mount Desert Island. So this is a very special place, and we know why everybody comes to Mount Desert Island for Acadia National Park, but also the geology. So very special place.
So is it time for our big transition?
Yes, so Juanita's going to do the slideshow.
Right.
I'm going to move to my table here. So
Hang in there. So
we'll do that
Juanita,
now.
you'll need to share your screen.
Okay.
There you go. It's starting up. Beautiful. And now you want to find your presentation.
It didn't come up like it did last night, of course. Hold on just a second.
And that would be, there you go. Da, 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 da.
Let's put the slideshow up. The snooze feels. Now you can move it.
All right.
Okay. This is the presentation that I gave in 2002 at the MIT. I was invited by Fletcher Granite out of Chelmsford, Mass, and to give a talk on Maine stone. And so there's been 3 different slideshows that have come out of that MIT talk. The first one here is a very special granite, and it's the Addison Black from Addison, Maine. This igneous rock is a hypocenthine olivine gabriel of almost black shade, containing whitish, transparent crystals of felspar, and has a crushing strength of 22,410 pounds per square inch, and a weight of 184 pounds per cubic foot. The Pleasant River Granite Company began operating its quarries about 1875 on the east side of Pleasant River at Deluxeville, Addison, Maine. A little added, Deluxeville had their own newspaper, and there were no roads from Deluxeville into the interior Maine. It was all done by shipping. The tablet for the Welch inscription in the Washington Monument. This is the product of the Addison Black. Welch inscription, Washington, D.C. at the Washington Monument. The Danforth Monument at Morristown, New Jersey, and the Zeller Monument at Lewisburg, Pennsylvania. The plant, this is the quarry now. The plant consisted of 3 derricks, 2 hoisting engines, 1 steam drill, 1 compressor, 2 pneumatic hand tools, 2 polishers, 1 polishing lathe for stones 12 feet long, and 1 gang of steam saws. This stone here is the Green Mountain Granite from Mount Desert Island. This was the first commercial quarry on Mount Desert Island in 1868 by Cyrus Hall from Belfast, Maine. This igneous rock contains dark mineral hornblende, gray translucent quartz, and a deep pink felspar. This quarry, we have found no photographs of the quarry in that operation. In the summer of 1868, Cyrus Hall of Belfast, Maine opened the first quarry, and many quarries thereafter on Mount Desert Island. This granite was from Otter Creek, a few miles south of Bar Harbor, and called the Green Mountain Granite of Mount Desert Island. Contracts. The First National Bank of Omaha, Nebraska. This is a beautiful structure that had been torn down in the 30s. Okay, this building is a prefab building. Every rock was quarried at Otter Creek, taken to Belfast, Maine, cut, polished, carved, boxed, banded, numbered by blueprint number. Then it was loaded on a schooner and taken to Portland, Maine, offloaded in Portland and shipped to Omaha by train. Now observe the dentals on the roof line. The dentals are hanging down like icicles. Usually dentals on a granite building is little square blocks on the roof line. This was a fabulous structure that was carved as icicles hanging down from the roof line. What a beautiful building. Other structures of this granite: the Belfast Free Library in Belfast, Maine, the Royal Insurance Building in Chicago, Illinois, the Boylston Street Bridge off Commonwealth Avenue in Boston, and the Baker Memorial Church, both in Boston, Mass. Also, 50 columns were all hand polished, sent to New York for churches throughout New York. Commonly known as the Green Mountain Granite, it was believed to be the finest granite for monumental stone on the coast of Maine, which is now all Acadia National Park and can never be quarried ever again. Even the park cannot quarry their stone. Soame Sound Pink Granite from Mount Desert Island. This igneous rock, and this is your 5th to 6th eruption of the supervolcano. This igneous rock contains biotite mica, gray quartz crystals, and pink oleoclase felspar. It takes a very high polish because of the very small pieces of biotite. They're so small, they don't pluck out. so they polish. This you can see on the background is a fluted column. This was for the Royal Insurance Building in Chicago. In 1871, Cyrus Hall came up into the Sound and he found deep water transportation. And he founded the Standard Granite Company on Somme Sound, Mount Desert Island. Contracts. This pink granite went into building many notable structures, including the U.S. Mint, shown here, the Congressional Library, and the Customs and Courthouse in Philadelphia, the Hartford River Bridge over the Connecticut River in Hartford, Connecticut, the John Hancock Building in Boston. This is the old John Hancock, which is all polished front. The whole building on the front is polished Paul Quarry stone. It's a beautiful structure. Now, this is a neat, we can only see one side of the quarry, but it had two vertical fractures with horizontal in between. This was the best quarry that you'd ever see because of, and you can see the trees are growing out of the granite layers. In some cases, it was reported 3 inches of sand was in between the sheeting. So Mother Nature split the granite horizontally and vertically. Also put the granite with roller bearings underneath the sheeting. So it was very easy to push these huge granite blocks of 800 ton out, slide them out with the sand and silts underneath the layers. This granite is called a Rappakivi granite, and it's Stonington Crotch Island granite. This igneous rock is a biotite granite of lavender, medium gray color, and coarse, even grain texture. This is an exceptional stone that has a very high polish. In 1872, Goss opened the quarry, granite quarry at Thurlow Head on Crotch Island. That's just 3 miles away from Stonington. The products shown here is the Boston Museum of Fine Arts in Boston, Post Office in Lowell, Mass, Courthouse in Dedham, Mass, the Cadet Armory at Boston, rough stone for the Brooklyn approach to the East River Bridge. And we could go on for a couple of more minutes with contracts. Huge amount of bridges in New York. Now, the islands here on the coast of Maine were originally a different shape. Then the quarrying industry came. 65% of the granite was thrown away because of the color difference and fracturing. So all these outer islands, we were throwing all of that granite right into the ocean. And so you'll look at these islands and none of them were the same as the original shape of the island, just because of the waste stone. The plant consisted of 8 derricks, 8 hoisting engines, 2 cable engines for drawing cars, 1 Ignisol ran compressor, 5 steam drills, 16 pneumatic hand tools. This quarry is in Hancock County, and today the New England Stone Company removes saw blocks from Crotch Island, which now go to Smithfield and North Kingstown, Rhode Island, for processing. And so you can find the Crotch Island granite all over the United States, going into tombstones, job security, tombstones, floor coverings, and also the countertop business. So this is one of the very few out of all the quarries on the coast of Maine. Juanita and I have visited 300 quarries on the coast of Maine. There's only 6 to 8 quarries that are working on the coast. Hollowell Granite. This is in Hollowell, Maine. This igneous rock contains slight bluish translucent potash felspar, smoky quartz, soda lime felspar, garnet, black and white mica, muscovite and biotite mica. The Litchfield and Longfellow quarries at Hollowell, Maine were opened as early as 1826 by the Hollowell Granite Works. You can see there were huge blocks that were taking off that horizontal sheeting. The product, State Capitol Building, Albany, New York. This building, the last 15 years, the quarry was drained in Hollowell. The block was taken out of the quarry, and now the state capitol was now being rebuilt. They had a lot of stones that were chipped, broken, and now the original quarry was furnishing block to rebuild that structure 15 years ago. More product, the Hall of Records and its statuary, New York. The Brooklyn Savings Bank, New York City. The Masonic Temple in Boston, Mass. The statuary on Plymouth Monument, Plymouth, Massachusetts. The Battlefield Monument at Trenton, New Jersey. And the Suffolk Savings Bank building in Boston, Mass. A huge amount of structures. This is the Quarry Net, a partial list of equipment used at the plant in quarries include 18 derricks, 2 traveling cranes, 2 large compressors, 14 pneumatic plug drills, 56 pneumatic hand tools, surfaces, lathes, and polishers. This was a huge industry of Bardwell Granite Company. This is also called a rapid heaving. Look at the very large felspar crystal. This is Mount Waldo in Waldo County. This granite is a biotite granite of medium gray shade and fine, even grain texture. It consists in descending order of abundance of gray potash felspar, smoky quartz, gray soda lime felspar, and black mica. This is the quarry opened by Pierce and Rowe before 1832 and measured 800 feet by 400 feet and 10 to 30 feet in depth. The crushing strength of this granite is 32,635 pounds per square inch. Product: City Hall, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. The U.S. Post Office in Annapolis, Indiana. State Capitol Post Office, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Post Office, Bangor, Maine. The quarry now. You'll see those large poles. They were taken down about 20 years ago, and they were 110 foot tall, of Western fir from Oregon. The plant consisted of 10 derricks, 6 hoisting engines, 1 traveling crane, 1 locomotive crane, 2 compressors, 6 steam drills, 1 channeler, 12 pneumatic plug drills, 10 surfacing machines, and 60 pneumatic hand tools. North J Granite, Franklin County. This igneous rock is a biotite muscovite granite of very light shade gray. It was called the white granite of New England. The fine, even grain texture containing potash felspar, black and white mica, together with accessory accessory garnet. And you'll see the little brown spots in this stone, and a lot of that is the garnets. This was an exceptional quarry with your horizontal sheeting, but you've got 2 verticals that was natural. And so they could take and split those verticals out very easily. The Maine and New Hampshire Granite Company of North J, Maine began quarrying around 1872. 3 openings known as the upper, the lower, and the boulder. Quarries measured 425 feet by 200 feet, 150 feet deep. Contracts include Cathedral at Lewiston, Maine. And the museum has a folder of the man that cut the stone for this church. He was in his 60s at the time, and he split and cut every block in that church and the rectory. And so it was a huge project for that older gentleman. And I have all of his family history and photographs. The contracts include paving block for Havana, Cuba, square block for the Panama Canal, General Grant's tomb, New York, which I have the original contract, Fairmont Park Gateway, Philadelphia. The Hanneman Monument, Washington, D.C. A huge amount of stone went throughout the United States for the soldiers and sailors monuments. These structures were 45 feet tall, and with the soldier or sailor standing on top with his sword or his musket. The quarry today. The company's plant consisted of 8 power and 2 hand derricks, 8 engines, 2 locomotive cranes, 1 compressor, 4 steam air drills, 8 pneumatic plug drills, 2 surfaces, 14 pneumatic hand tools, and 3 steam pumps and 2 steam crushers. So they were doing a lot of aggregate for the cities also. The red granite of New England, Shattuck Mountain Red. This granite is a biotite granite of dark reddish, greenish gray color, medium to coarse, even grain texture. It consists in a descending order of abundance of reddish potash felspar, smoky quartz, greenish soda lime felspar, and black mica. The micas are small enough. This stone takes a very nice polish, but it does erode with time out in the weather. The biotites do erode away and leave small holes. The quarry opened in 1890s by the Maine Red Granite Company of Red Beach, Maine. The quarry measures 50 feet by 25 feet, 10 to 20 feet in depth. You can see the power of the quarry turning the derricks, the poles were the oxen. Every quarry on the coast of Maine, very early, the power was these animals hauling the granite blocks and turning the derricks. Very special building. The product, Fall River Courthouse at Fall River, Mass. The building is a gray stone from St. George, Rockland, Maine, and the red arch and columns are all the Shattuck Mountain. 4 fluted columns, 22 feet by 3 feet for the courthouse at Marquette, Michigan. So this granite you can actually find in almost every cemetery in the United States. Because of sandstone, limestone, marble in the Midwest, Maine red granite was being shipped out of Boston by Cook, Watkins, and Perkins on rail and shipping the red granite right to the West Coast for tombstones and mausoleum work. The quarry now. The plant included 1 derrick, 3 hoisting engines, 1 150 horsepower engine. That engine was brought in. This whole plant was water power. But in 1 year in the 1800s, there was a drought and the water dried up. So they had to buy the 150 horsepower engine, 1 steam crane, 4 cutting lathes, 4 polishing lathes, 1 saw with 2 blades, 23 feet long, that was used with steel shot. This is a beautiful stone right here. Spruce Head Quarry out of Rockland, Maine. The fortresses, there's 10 fortresses in New York alone. And there was 3 of those fortresses was out of this granite. The Spruce Head granite is a quartz monzite with conspicuous black and white particles and medium to coarse even grain texture, consisting of its descending order of abundance of translucent white soda lime felspar, milk white potash felspar, smoky quartz, black mica, and black hornblende. This quarry was opened on Spruce Head Island in the town of St. George in 1877. Operated the Bardwell Granite Company of Rockland, Maine. The sheets range from thickness from less than 1 foot to 13 feet in depth. Specimen buildings. Carnegie Library, Allegheny, Pennsylvania. Post Office and Customs House, Atlanta, Georgia. The Mutual Life Insurance Company building, New York City. Now, a lot of the Carnegie libraries that was built by this family were torn down in the 70s. And so very few of them now exist. The stone was salvaged and is being used in different projects and the different cities. This is the quarry, and you can see that the quarry walls are way behind, and the quarry was filled and is now as a plant of a fish plant. This was the only quarry I've ever been to. I was denied access into the quarry, and I had to go around the back end and ask a few favors of fishermen to allow me to collect a piece of stone. Sullivan Gray Granite, Sullivan, Maine. The granite is a biotite granite of medium gray shade, medium even grain texture, consisting of a descending order of abundance of milk white potash felspar, smoky quartz, milk white soda lime felspar, and black mica with a lot of garnet. The quarry, there was no stripping of this quarry. There was no overburden. So very easily the stone was gotten to. The quarry was opened in 1830 by William Mosley, later run by Crabtree and Evie of North Sullivan. The quarry measures 300 feet by 200 feet at the depth of 50 feet. And you can see that it was all animal power and wooden sleds. They were splitting the granite by drilling with plug drills and hammers, splitting the granite blocks. The blacksmith was the key to this whole operation. Product: St. Andrews, New Brunswick jail, built in 1830. New Brunswick's full of granite, but in 1830, there was no quarrying in New Brunswick. So the Sullivan Granite was shipping its granite right to Canada to build the jail. Other products: bank building in Nantucket, Mass. Block of buildings in Bangor, Maine. Columns for the tombs in New York City. The dry dock and large engine house at the Navy Yard, Brooklyn, New York. The quarry now. The plant consisted of 3 derricks, 1 hoisting engine, and 1 pump, a steam pump.
We might be going over time, just to let you know.
Okay. One more?
Sure.
Okay, Vinyl Haven. The granite is a biotite of general pinkish, buff, medium gray color and coarse texture. It consists of descending order of abundance of pink, buff, potash felspar, smoky quartz, milk soda lime felspar, and black mica. The Wharf Quarry was opened in 1860. The quarry was operated by Bodwell Granite Company and measures about 500 square feet with an average feet of 25 feet in depth. Product: it was used for bridges, buildings, 8 columns, 51.5 feet long by 6 feet in diameter for the Cathedral St. John the Divine. This is the quarry now. The plant consisted of 5 derricks, 2 hoisting engines, 2 steam drills, 1 steam-driven compressor, 7 pneumatic plug drills, and 1 granite lathe of carrying columns 70 feet by 7 feet in thickness. And thank you.
Okay. So stop sharing the screen and we'll try to get people back.
My cursor didn't wake up.
You can do that, Bill, yourself.
I can?
Yep.
Where?
Up top.
Ooh.
Oh, it's done anyway.
Okay, it's done anyway. Okay. So I'll unmute everybody. And if anybody has any questions.
I have a question. How many different flavors of granite are there actually in the area? Is there a number?
Oh, my goodness gracious. Every quarry is a different, on Mount Desert Island, we have about 68 to 70 quarries, and there's not one of them the same.
Wow.
And so in my exhibit, we have 300 plus polished stones here, and they're all completely different. And so that's why the US government because of transportation, water was, they could have all of these architects looking at all the granite on the coast of Maine and have buildings of any color in the rainbow they needed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions? For
Did
Stephen?
you, yes, I have one. Did you find, is there ever real variation in a single quarry?
Oh, yes. Now when, okay. No, Oakland? No, it was Harrison, Maine. We went to a quarry. We found this quarry on an old map. And it had in the same hole, gray granite, black granite, and bright red. And they were quarrying in this little tiny area, all three of those stones at the same time. So there are variations of these quarries having 1 or 2 to 3 stones out of that one quarry of different.
Steve, when did you start going out and seriously start exploring all the quarries and collecting information?
Well, this was all done when I met Juanita Sprague. And well, there was a man, what was his name? Mr. Murphy from Beach Hill. Maitland Murphy.
Oh, yeah.
And he had a book, and it was Quarries and Prospects, Maine Quarries and Prospects. He gave it to me, and then that had all the information of Maine. And I met Juanita, and her great-great-grandfather was a quarryman on Islesford, Maine.
He was a stone mason.
And so we got together, and let's take a weekend and go to a certain place and collect the granite.
So
we brought it back. Every weekend after that, we had to go to a different section in Maine, collect the stone, sometimes 8 or 10 quarries in a weekend, bringing them back, and then cutting, polishing, and putting history.
So how long ago was that?
What was that?
How long ago?
That was 1997.
Oh.
That the museum actually got its roots.
And Steve had a Willie's Jeep, and we'd go riding, go for rides.
Yep.
It
So
was fun.
Thank you, Dwight.
now you have this lovely museum, and I know it's open during the warmer seasons. Your card says open Tuesday to Sunday from 10 to 4. But when are you going to move to your winter hours, where everything is by appointment?
Well, I'm here all the time, and so we will have in November and December Maine schools. The first geology is the 3rd grade. And so they don't really get started until December in their geology. And so I'll have through December and January schools And I do have in November, the last end of November, I've got a homeschool group from Boston.
Yeah,
that's-
terrific.
That's gonna come in and we're gonna hand polish, learn how to tumble and how to split stone right here.
Well, that's great. Well, I look forward to my next trip, that's for sure. And I have some stone from here in Rockport, which I want you to get your hands on as well. So that's the
Thank you,
future.
William. Thank
Okay,
you, sir.
thank you all, and especially to Stephen and Juanita. So go well. I close this event. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.